this life's all about. Threw my virtues to the ground, drinking from the devil's cup. Take that pill, drink it down, flashing lights all around. High as hell, drunk like I finally don't give a fuck. 'Cause I'm breaking all the rules tonight. Not going down without a fight. As long as I'm still breathing, doesn't matter how hard you might try. We can take this freedom. Waking up, I'm a mess, sleeping on the bathroom floor. Last night's a blur, don't know for sure, but I'm ready for another round. We're talking shit, don't hear a sound. Take a hit and pass around. High as hell, drunk like I finally don't give a fuck. 'Cause I'm breaking all.
Hey everybody, this is Overpass Live. My name is Eric and I make apps. Hey, I'm sorry for being a few minutes late today. I was in a meeting and I was trying to wrap it up really quick and get going, but yeah, it was like 5 o'clock. It was 5:01, 5:02, and anyway, sorry for my tardiness, everybody. So, hello Mega Man, I'm glad you can make it. Rakashan Kasun, how are you? Walk the Talk. Hey, what's up? What's up, Walk the Talk? I love that name. Hussein Gokas, how's it going? Wait for this to start. Jigan Pandian, how's it going? Biswajit, hi, how are you? Live for Tech, hi everyone. Aiden, what's up? What's up, Aiden? What's up? Josh, you guys are so fast, it's insane. I know you guys. I'm surprised you guys are all here waiting. Phone notification squad. Parash Bot is here. Josh is here. Professional Sing. We are Overpass audience, and we listen to Eric. Dude, man, I don't know. After this last week, I don't know if you guys should listen to me at all anymore. So, all right. So I did a video on Wednesday where I said, you know what? It's time for a new chapter. I just thought I would be gracious and say, look, it's time for a new chapter. And you know what? How many people commented saying, I can't believe you're going to lay down and just take it. So I am going to appeal it again. It's not so much that I can't. So about the app, Ear Agent, which was suspended last Thursday, Black Thursday. And on Sunday night, so the Saturday night, they suspended the paid version. Sunday, I sent through an email, like a big long email saying why they should move it from suspended to remove, and I'll make all the changes to the name, everything like that. They came back saying they didn't quite understand what I was saying, so all week I've been meaning to just go through and do that again. So it's not so much not being able to release another version. The thing I'm scared about releasing another version is that I don't want to release another version and have that suspended and then get my whole account suspended. So what I want to do is get that suspension overturned or get it moved to a removed status, hopefully. And then that way, all existing reviews, all existing payments, because really lots of people have paid money in-app purchases and everything. And that's my plan to Google is to say, look, people have paid for this. They should be able to restore their payments. They've been, you're not screwing me over. You're not screwing me over. You're screwing over your own users. So that's kind of the way I'm going with that. So I don't want to just release another version with another package name, because this is the thing. I talked about how, bad stuff happens, like in the Godzilla movies where Godzilla destroys Tokyo every movie, right? And then they just rebuild. Like I would be like, oh, forget it. What's the use? Apathy, all that stuff. It's not so much that. It's just like, because I could build it. I have the code. I could just release another version like in 10 minutes or an hour maybe to set up all the Google Play stuff. But it's the backlinks and the keywords and all that stuff. The reviews, it would be starting from there. So I really want to get the other one put back if I can. But I haven't necessarily given up, but I have been focusing on other stuff. So just because part of it is so Ear Agent they said it was malicious behavior because it implies eavesdropping. And I'm like eavesdrop? No, not eavesdropping. And so that's my whole thing. But really, there's a picture of a spy on the icon. So kind of, that's where I'm coming from. I'm kind of like yeah, maybe I was, a little bit too far, but still, I think we can get over to, because it's not a bad application. Although the comments that I got, you guys can hear me, right? Let me just make sure you guys can hear me. Let's see. The comments I got was like almost like, I'm going to be the bigger man. So it's just an end of the chapter. So going to be the bigger man, and everybody just comes back like, Eric, you wimp. Eric, you wimp. You're just going to lie down and take it. What kind of a man are you? So it was like, after a while, I was like, jeez. So anyway, so yeah, that's where we are with that. So I'm still trying to do that. Rakshita Kasun says, I've published a few apps on Play Store and AdMob worked fine, but since yesterday ads are not working. Now the apps are trending. Are you not getting impressions, or are you getting an error? Have you run it through testing? Bala Murali Thurapathy says, can you please tell me about App-ads.txt, and it is necessary to use in AdMob? Now, I've got that email just like you guys have, and my understanding, and again, it's very loose understanding, is that we're going to have to just go through and create a text file on a domain, like on our root domain, and put that into AdMob. So from what I could tell, and I haven't done it yet. From what I could tell, that doesn't mean we have to release the applications. It just means from the AdMob side that we have to put that thing there on our domain. So if you have a website, then it'll be the root of your domain. You give it app-ads.txt, and then you go into AdMob and you add it into AdMob under the settings. And I haven't looked at that yet. That's something I need to do all week. It's been on my to-do list, but it's been I think I like a lot of people. I think we have until the end of the month to do it. So yeah, that's going to be, but it should be pretty simple. Now, it doesn't say, like, if you're a developer and you don't have a website, or if you have apps but you don't have any kind of web domain or anything out there, I don't know what you would do in that situation. But you should have a website anyway, because most likely you need to have a privacy policy. You should have some sort of presence out there. But because I think like for me, it should be an easy thing to do. I have a website. I have several websites, and I should just be able to go through, copy out the app-ads.txt, put it into my my root domain, and everything should be fine, my understanding. However, I know there's a lot of developers out there who don't have money to get a domain, or even the free websites they're not able to do. So I don't know if that will be penalizing more like developers without a lot of income, because they can't have a website, even though you can get websites really cheap or free these days. But so I'm wondering whether or not that's going to have a bad effect. But I don't think it's a Google thing. I think it's I don't know what it is. It seems to be some sort of regulation. I should have done my homework. I was going to do that today, but I haven't. So, Ada Mac, what's the news on Ear Agent? It's still out, but I'm gonna appeal it again this weekend. It's like, it's not so much hard to send an email to appeal it. It's like I want to craft the email really well, because there's so much writing on it, and that's what I did on Sunday night. I craft, like, it was like in depth. It was like the Gettysburg Address. It was like every word was carefully chosen, and they came back saying, I don't know how to answer your question. And I thought, obviously now I just need to make it simpler and just go back through. So we'll get that through. Ravi Kumar Sharma, hey, how's it going? Data Plus Code is here. Hey, how's it going? Cord Funk, hey, what? Yo, Cord Funk. Parash Bhat, what's the status of Ear Agent apps? Yep, we just talked about that, but we can talk about it a bit more. It's kind of been like on the forefront of my mind all week, if you haven't guessed. Rodrigo's here. Hey, how's it going? Wale, any update on Ear Spy? Yeah, that's just it. I mean, that's the one thing. I haven't. It's like, do you know what? It's almost like the fact that I haven't done my third appeal yet, which I plan on doing, but it's kind of like I still have hope here. Like, so, but I'm gonna do it, and I shouldn't wait too long, because then I'll lose the keyword rankings and everything like that. I really should do it, but it's like I just need to get that out there, and I will do that this weekend, because it's it's losing me money every day. We do in our daily revenue, and it's just a lot lower. So let me. I've done a video before where I talked about daily revenue, but let me just show you that, just so for those of you guys who are wondering what the If you follow me on Instagram, or if you follow Overpass on Instagram, you see on the stories I put that stuff on there. It's like my daily revenue report. So let me share my screen here in a second. So here's my so Rowena, who does the daily revenue, she said how sad she gets every day when she does this. Come on, load. So here's this is July. July looked good, 110, 112. Look at August. So I don't know if you guys can see this. Maybe I should make it a bit bigger. So here you can see first and second, just blissfully unaware, 99, 82, still a bit low, but and then 36. 41 was okay, but it's like that's the day where my iOS apps kind of perked up a little bit there. Then 30, 34, 41. Again, it was iOS, and for some reason had a good ad mob day that day. And then 8. So it's like but we look at like last month. Last month we really things started to pick up, and then bam, just knocked down. But no, but we've had a really good week this week in terms of client work. So it was almost strange. It was just strange that have what my biggest money earner gone, and then client work pick up like that. It was like almost, it was I mean, it was supernatural almost. So but yeah, so that's where we are with that. Let's see. Oh, I lost the window. So yeah, so that's where we are. It's the live dashboard. Oh, I don't. If you guys use a Mac, every so often you'll just lose windows. Like they'll go someplace in limbo, and it is such a pain. Let's go back to over here. Where is it? Okay. Sorry about this. I need to go back and find the just give me a second. By the way, for those of you guys who are Mac fans out there, I think you're crazy. I'm not a big fan of the Mac. Sometimes some things I really like. Like I've gotten all the keyboard shortcuts and everything down, which I really enjoy. But there's times where certain things just go crazy. Like we got a window that just goes missing, and you can't get it back. Here we go, live stream now. Let's bring back up your guys' questions so I can go through them. Here we go. Oh, come on, load. Okay, here we go. So that's where we are. So Gianluca, Sasana, how are you? Let's see. Josh, Walk the Talk says, what do you think if I made 1,000 simple apps on different category? Would it be a good idea, or would it be a constant stream of income? I would think, Walk the Talk, on Google Play you might be able to, because I was kind of going that way myself. I have on Google Play I think it's over 100 apps, and again it depends. Like there's a lot of variations on the theme. I was a bit concerned about the repetitive content rule. On the Apple side, you would never get away with it. You would never be on iOS apps. I mean, you used to, and there were a lot of people, especially when I started out, that were just factories. They're just putting out loads and loads of applications. So, and it makes sense. Like, if this app only makes me $1 a month, then all I need is like 1,000 of these apps, right? That's like makes sense. Like it mathematically makes sense. But then they start rejecting things, and you're like, God, it just like that was it. So it was a couple of years ago, but when Apple just started rejecting everything I put through. So I had like lots of applications which were similar, but they had completely different audiences. So language learning games. So it was a language learning game, which was Bubbles and we had like 3 different variations of language learning games. But for each of them, we had 22 languages. So for each of those 22 languages, they would have their own version, their own theme, music, vocabulary. Obviously, we had it translated into all these languages. It was really working well. My iOS revenue was doing pretty well at the time, And then Apple started saying, no, you need to combine all these into one app. And I said, oh, what do you mean, like the 3 Chinese apps should be one app? And they go, no, all of your apps should be one language learning app, like Duolingo or something. And I thought, well, all the image resources, I mean, that thing would be gigabytes in size. And they're like, no, you should download the content and then have them like a container app. And it makes sense, like from a technical point of view. Every time I talk about it, people say, well, why don't you just download the content? It's easy. And it is easy. From a technical point of view, it is easy. My problem was that from a marketing point of view, if somebody's searching for a game to learn Swahili, and my game is called Swahili Bubble Bath or Learn Swahili or whatever, then I'm going to rank better when somebody's searching for that. But if mine's called Language Learning Game, I'm not going to rank as well. But if somebody who only has Swahili, they're going to do a lot better, right? So I was being penalized for the fact that I was putting out more applications. Now, on the Google Play side, I haven't seen that yet, but I do know some people who have been caught with repetitive content. So that's something to think about, walk the talk. I mean, if you do lots of different apps like that, that could be an issue. Gianluca, how it's going? Josh, Eric, do you think distributing apps on my own website out of Play Store has any potential? I think it does, but you wouldn't have in-app purchases, and you'd have to think about how you would do advertisements on the free one. I mean, you would have to write your own mechanisms for in-app purchases, which shouldn't be that difficult to do, but you have to have your own database of users and stuff like that. When we do client applications, we do it with their own website most often. So it's just, they don't really care. They have, like, if it's a client and their employees use it, they don't have to worry about their employees finding it, right? They just say, okay, go to this URL and download it. In fact, they prefer not to have it on the Play Store. So yeah, I mean, it does have potential, and I wonder if we'll get to that point. That's the thing about Android, is that you don't necessarily have to use Google Play. I can complain all day long about Google Play having removed my app, but there's other app stores out there that I could do. Like if it was, but I think in order to do that, like you have to be, was it Fortnite? Was it Fortnite? I think it was Fortnite was gonna like bypass Google Play and the App Store altogether. I think they were going to use like enterprise distribution or something. That's the thing. The Apple side is completely different. You have to go through them. Even if you have enterprise distribution, you have to follow their terms and conditions and everything there too, which kind of sucks. So at least with Google Play, with Android, you have more than one option. If it does get removed from Google Play, you can still release it. You can still do it. So you can do it through your own website, but you just don't get them, their help there. It's like getting pulled from the shelf. It's like getting pulled from the shelves at Walmart, right? My product was on the shelves at Walmart, and now it's been pulled, and now I got to find a way either to get it back on those shelves under a new name, or distribute it a different way, right? And distributing it a different way is not going to do nearly as well as being on the shelf at Walmart, and that's what getting it removed from Google Play is like. That's what it feels like to me. Let's see. Pragmatic Dev Solutions says, what about creating a progressive web app version? Well, this particular app, it uses audio, and it has a lot of threading and parallel processes that run. I mean, everyone talks about how simple it is, and it is simple, but so this one wouldn't really work as a progressive web app. But this is, again, this progressive web app. You're going outside the app stores, so you have to find a way. You still have to get in front of people, right? So like Josh just said, the thing that Google Play gives you is distribution, right? It's people are searching through it. They know where to find it. If they download the app, they kind of trust it. They understand that process. Saying to go to someplace beside the app store, I think people are getting more used to that idea, but even when I talk to clients, when I say, well, we could do this as a progressive web app and just give a URL that people could go download or run it in their browsers or download it onto their device, that all makes sense to them, but they kind of have this fear that their users are going to be looking for them on the app stores. So, but yeah, the progressive web app version and distributing it yourself, I think both have the same issues. It's just distribution. It's getting found. You guys might disagree with me, by the way, so disagree with me. There was one really good, after I did that video on Wednesday, I don't know if you guys saw it, where I said, it's time to move on, app developers and apathy, and then one person said, yeah, I'm a positive person, but, Google made money off it. It was like all these really good points, and I thought, yeah, you got some really good points there. So, yeah, I could be wrong. Lim Koi Hot says, please review my app. It's called Otaku Ket. So we're going to have a look at this one for Lim Koi Hot. I hope I said that right. And let's have a quick look here. Hope you guys could see. Can you still hear me okay? Well, Julia's there. Julia's moderating, so if you she'll let me know if I go. She'll let me know on Slack if I go offline or anything, I hope. So let's share my screen. Otaku Cat. Okay, cool. What? Shopping assistant for anime and manga. Okay. Be the first to discover the latest product. Find your favorite product on multiple online shops has never been easier. Save your money by buying the cheapest price. Use in a dark environment. Give us feedback. I think you should look at the English of this, because give us feedback and complain sounds like you don't want to say you have something to complain about. You don't want to say we listen to your complaints, because you don't want to be you don't want to emphasize complaints. So let's go first with the first one here. Well, first of all, let's go with the icon. I know the icon. I don't know if that has any significance in manga, but it looks like something. It's the O from Otaku Cat, which makes sense. But it looks. I know it's an O, but it kind of looks very, very basic. And if you're talking about manga and anime, that's something where as your icon should look manga or anime, I would think. And we got be the first to discover the latest product. So again, I would mention anime and things like that. Hang on, let's go back to that. So we got this. We got price 50. Save your money by buying at the cheapest price. And $50.99, to me, that sounds like a big price. I would say put like a really low price there, so people think they're getting a good deal. But it all depends on whether or not people are finding it. And the dark environment, I think, is nice, but it's again, I think it's emphasizing more what it does. Like, how does this help me? Great app if you want trusted websites for all in one place. Finally, something useful. 1,000+ installs, so it's actually not too bad. I don't know what I'm talking about. So what do the rest of you guys think? Those are just my advice. I think the icon could be. You can hear Fist 007. You can hear my fan. I know it feels like my computer's really pushing it to the limit here. Need a cleaning session. So yeah, that's Otaku Cat. I think those are just my opinions. I mean, what do the rest of you guys think? If it's working, it's working. But I would think that the screenshots could use a bit more work. Of course, I'm looking at it in English, so and I don't know what Otaku Cat is. I know what anime and manga is, but I would imagine that would be something that you would have, like an anime, like get a designer to do an anime icon for it, just because that's, if somebody's into anime and that's what they're looking for, then that might be something that would appeal to them more, in my humble opinion, as somebody who gets their apps removed, suspended. I took such a hit, such a confidence hit this week. I'll get back. I'll get the next one up. Let's see. Rakshita Kasun says, AdMob's not working since yesterday. Some apps are trending now. I would say look at your console. I mean, the questions I would have are, do you have are you getting the requests? If you're not getting the requests through, then the problem's on your side, right? Something's going wrong. If you are getting the requests but not the impressions, then there's something that's not being fulfilled by Google Play, and I would check to see what countries they're in, things like that, and why you're not getting those fulfilled. But if the requests aren't coming through, then have a look at that, because that could be a problem with your application. Dervash Naik, hey man, finally able to watch you live. Thanks. Yeah, watch me live. That's much better than watching me film, because I could do anything. I could do this, right? You never know. You never know. I could go crazy. I could strip naked and dance around the office. That's what happens when on live stream. Remember that one time on that live stream when I did that? Jay Matthew, hey, how's it going? Hope you have a great day. I hope you are too. Dervesh Naik says, how do you find clients? What's your best strategy? So good question. Finding clients, we've done it different ways. We've done it like where we've gone out and prospected, like we were doing cold emailing for a while, and I was really big into cold emailing, like going on LinkedIn, finding the person I need to talk to, and using tools like Rapportive to try to figure out what their email address is, and then just emailing them and reaching out that way. A lot of times it would go straight to spam folder, I think, so we did that. I think going on, but then also at the same time we were building up SEO strategies. So we have our strategy is we have a lot of location pages. We have like 50 location pages for towns and cities around our immediate area. So if you say app developer in Somerset, I think we rank up there somewhere, third or fourth. It's not necessarily, we're not always the first, but so there's that side of things where we have that. But that's kind of like running in parallel. Like you don't just do one thing and think that's my one strategy. You do everything. So we have the SEO efforts. We've got the YouTube videos, which help a bit. So just constantly putting out content. We've got all the social media stuff going out. We've got our own applications out there, so we can help, not just say, yeah, we could do this for you. We can say we could do this for you, and to prove it, we've already done it, right? We have hundreds of apps of our own, and we try new things all the time. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and just being able to go out there and do it. And for me, the hard bit in the beginning was just getting in front of, not just getting in front of clients. It's just that getting over those, the confidence, getting the confidence to talk to clients. Like, because for some reason I thought they're gonna see me for the fraud that I am. Sure, I've got people people were hiring me as a developer, as a contractor, but for some reason I thought when I go into a business meeting with a client, they're gonna think this guy's not a businessman. He's just a developer, right? When really, that's kind of what they're looking for. So I had to learn the other side of it, like the reading all these books about that. But just getting the clients first, getting the marketing side of things, getting people to find you. I find if somebody contacts me, it's 10 times better than if I contact somebody else, right? And so, and when it comes to that, I'm still bad about, like, I'll go to like a networking event and I'll talk to somebody and they'll almost be like telling me that, yeah, no, I could really use an app. My company could really use an app. And you know what? I don't even do anything. I don't get my business cards out. I don't do anything. So there's that side of things. But I think for me, what really works is producing content and the inbound stuff. But that's a slow strategy. It's also a lot more passive, right? If I was a real man, I would get on the phone and call every business in a 50-mile radius and say, hey, I'm Eric, and we can make apps for you and all that stuff. But I tried doing cold calling and I just hated it. I hated the whole prospect of it. So I know I'm talking around the issue. There's so many different strategies that we use, and also you wanted to make it as easy as possible before when they find you. So if they do hit your website, is it easy for them to actually get in touch with you? And that's something that we're always looking at and reevaluating. Right now we have a form on our website where people could go and fill in the form for, they need an app developed. So it goes through a process. We have a process, like a documented process, where if somebody fills in the form, they get a ballpark quote within 24 hours. So as much as I'd like to have fixed price, I always have to say, I have to look at it. I have to think, what is this actually going to be? How long do I think it's going to take? And I'll give a ballpark quote, which will be vague, right? It'll be like a wide range. And then, I don't know if you guys hear, it's really windy outside. And then if we get the ballpark, and then we just let it go. We'll send out a thank you note, and if they're in the UK, we send out a thank you card. And then if they come back and they want to have a further meeting, then we'll have that further meeting either in person or on Zoom, so we can record the meeting, go through like a worksheet of what kind of stuff they need. But it's always evolving. It's always changing as we go. So let's see. Pirate Programmer says, "Hello, Eric. Hello, guys. Arr." Rodrigo, I don't know what the website it asked for. So know what website it's asked for. Oh, you're talking about the app.text.txt? Rodrigo says, is a reverse domain thingy. Are we talking about app.text.txt? I think it's just having something there so they can verify that you're actually, I mean, if you're running ads, that you actually have a presence or something. To stop, I think what it said, stopping somebody from somehow hijacking your ads. But again, I need to do a bit more research on that too. I mean, because I kind of know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know the reason why I'm doing it, if you know what I mean. And if we're gonna have these live streams, I probably should know. Professional Singh says, Eric, can you suggest me most rewarding client work genre, like designing, web, Android, iOS, or any other? Thank you. Professional Singh, I think every client needs a website, but they probably already have one, and there's so many companies out there that do it. For me, what I find is we have a lot of clients that have employees that need an internal application. So you're talking about maybe something that interfaces with their system, like SharePoint or Salesforce or whatever their CRM is, or we got a lot of clients that have Bluetooth devices that communicate with, and because we can communicate Bluetooth with their device, then we can have an app that's available on the App Store or on the Play Store, where their clients could just download their clients or their customers, their clients or their employees can download the application and use it and log in with their internal systems, right? And I think that's something that I think there's going to be a lot more client work in. So it's kind of silly that we have all these businesses that are, some of them still paper-based, some of them desktop-based, but they all have people walking around with mobile phones that they could be using, for their work. So it's a website does only so much, but to give you an example, let's say I make an app for, movie staff, right? So for cinemas, so each cinema has their staff goes in and cleans up after every movie. I can make an application that says, okay, you go into an admin panel and you add all your cinemas. We have an API feed to your cinema time, so we know roughly what time every film is going to finish. Your employees download the app either through your own website or whatever. They'll go through. They'll get a push notification. They'll log in to say they're on shift or off shift. When a film's about to finish, they'll get a push notification saying this film's about to finish. It needs cleaning. They can go down there. They could do what they need to. They could check in, say I've got this, or they could say somebody needs to clean cinema theater number 8, right? And there might be 3 people on staff. One of them says, I got it. They go in and clean it, and then they take a picture of it so they can show that, yes, it's been done. It goes to an admin site. They can see over time, what's been done. Or if there's a big spill, they can take a picture of it and get the maintenance crew down. But that kind of stuff where you have reporting at a high level for an organization, but then you also have managers and everything doing what they need to do, and it's all distributed, so you're not talking about something in a big building, but you're doing that. That's just an idea for an application that you could do for a client, right? And every organization has something like that. So that's what excites me about apps. And you can say progressive web apps. You can still take pictures with progressive web apps. You can still do GPS. You can still do clocking in, all that kind of stuff, but I just think apps are easier. And that might not be the case in a few years' time. Who knows? Walk the Talk says, you don't need your own website. You could just use a free service like Heroku. Oh, yeah, you could use Heroku. You can host files as static HTML. Static HTML, and even run scripts like Node and Python. That's true. You could. But I think, yeah, I mean, yeah, Heroku you could do. But I'm trying to think, walk the talk. Have you ever tried to tell like a normal person, like a non-developer, how to use Heroku or AWS? It's like super hard. Where if you say FTP, sometimes you can kind of get it. But yeah, that's true. You can use something like Heroku. You could even use a free tier AWS, right? So you get you get up to a year of a really low. Well, I mean, if you had an EC2 instance, which is definitely like a Linux server, which is definitely overkill for one file. Whew. Am I talking too much? Probably. Josh says you should make a video on advice on how to actually finish an app. Would you happen to have advice on actually keeping yourself going and push the app to the finish line? This is a really good question because I have loads of applications that I have started and not finished because you get to the point where you just kind of get tired of it, or you start thinking about more stuff you can add to it, or you lose momentum. If you lose momentum, that's another big thing. So that would be a really good one because that's really really tough. I mean, that could be really tough. Chordfunk, any thoughts on Huawei Harmony OS? Is that actually out? I haven't looked into it. I don't have no thoughts on it yet, but I'll have a look. I'll have to investigate that. Let's see. Matthew Cricky says I don't have a website. I've never had an app rejected. Cool. Liam, hey, how's it going? Parash Bot says, try to reach out to Google Dev Relations in your city through the Google Meetups or LinkedIn. These people are actually look after issues like this. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Because, it's like, I mean, everyone keeps saying, well, why don't you just tell Google this? Why don't you tell the Google? Because it's tough to tell Google anything. Let's see. Even if they can't help directly, they could at least point you to the right person to hearing you out and helping in the appeal process. Cool. Thank you very much. Making English fun. Hey, how's it going? You're here. Hi, from Hong Kong. Had to leave Malaysia and get a job after the year off. Oh man. Well, you know what? You have to take a job temporarily, right? I've done that. I thought about it last Friday morning. Like Friday after my app was suspended, I started looking at jobs, thinking, maybe I could just go back and do it. Right, that low moment. I'm never ruling it out. If everything goes according to plan, I will never take on another job again. But you know what? Things happen. Stuff happens. You swing for the fences, and sometimes you have to go. That's good for you. I mean, yeah, you never put your family in jeopardy because of this. You always, you do what you have to do. You take the risks that you need to take, but there's a limit. So yeah. But Prosh, appealing is just a waste of time. You'll only get greeted by a bot. Maybe. Yeah, probably. Pirate Programmer says, hello, Eric. Have you implemented App-ads.txt already? Not yet. I'm going to do that this week, I think. I think I'm the kind of person who I would wait until the last possible second, and I realize my revenue's down, and then I'll quickly do it. What do you know about it? What can you share with us? It's my first time hearing about this. Thanks. I think we talked about it a little bit at the beginning. From my understanding, it's just a text file. And if you go into AdMob, there's if you go to, let me see if I can bring it up here. I'm going to see if I can go into AdMob without sharing any of my RPM information and gets banned or anything. So let's see if I go to AdMob. My understanding is that you just move it to, you copy this file out into an App-ads.txt file. You put it in the root domain of your site. And then that way they could just verify that you are you and you have that domain. Actually, I'm not going to show that because I haven't done it yet, but hopefully next week we talk about that a bit more in detail. Rodrigo says use Data Studio. It's awesome. You know what? I've used Data Studio a bit because I like the idea. But Rodrigo, I haven't done anything more than just have like a YouTube dashboard and an ads. Google Ads dashboard, but I'd like to have like one dashboard with everything on it. Like I want to see my iOS downloads and my Google Play downloads and my AdMob revenue and YouTube subscribers and Instagram. I want to see all of that on one view and bring all those data connectors in. But every time I look at it, I just get overwhelmed with all of it. And there's like some things not there. Like I think the App Store Connect data is not there on Google Studio. So. But Flighter 1990, hey, how's it going? How are you? I'm good, thanks. Let's see. Walk the talk. Next time you lose your window, press Control up arrow key. Oh, cool. Thank you very much. Fist007. Hi, everyone. How's it going? Hey, Fist007. Javier Barata says, hey, Eric, do you test the app builder open source King of App? Do you have some experience with this auto service to publish apps in Apple and Android? King of App? No, I never heard of this. Let's have a quick look. King of App. We should have a look at the screen in a second here. After it loads. Let's see. King of App. Is it this guy? Not secure. They don't have a valid certificate. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but so it's date invalid. So no, I haven't used it. And I imagine that must put a lot of people off. So look, Radiohead says, is it easier to code and concentrate in San Diego or in London because of the stable, shitty weather? I find it hard to concentrate this summer. Radiohead, are you in San Diego? I'm in Oxfordshire, so for me, I think there are days, you know what, I have an air conditioner in the office, and if I plug the air conditioner in and there's like the hum of it and just close the windows and that's when I really get focused on stuff. But a lot of times when you're coding something, it's just getting started. It's just that first sitting down to actually do it and get into it. And as soon as you get started, well, it feels like it could be like 6 hours, it could be like 10 hours later, but it feels like you just got started. Then it's time to do something else. It's like, oh, I gotta go, I gotta go home and have dinner, or I gotta go, I got a meeting, or I got something else, and then it just pulls you off to the. So I think as a developer, I think a lot of developers probably feel this way, where I wish I could just sit down and never be interrupted ever, right? But eventually you get to the point where you're like, you start looking for stuff to do, like, oh, you get that cabin fever and start wandering around. Let's see. Dervash Naik says, I think you can localize game names in each country. Yeah, you can. Josh says, I see. I was planning on using my own payments APIs anyway. That would be really cool. But you should, Josh, you know what you should do is try to make it. If I were you, if you're going to code your own payment gateways, try to do something where you can sell that product onto other people. Because it's difficult because you'd have to make it easy. Like as a coder, you know what to do, you know how to implement it. But if you could do it, if it works for you, that might be a service you could sell to other people. Not on Code Canyon or anything cheap like that, but actually have a genuine thing. That would be cool. And there might be stuff out there already. I don't even know. Let's see. Rodrigo says PUBG is not on the Play Store. Let's see. Rodrigo, Tinder joined Spotify, complained about 30%. Yeah, this is at 30%, and also the grip that they have on you, right? Let's see. Billy, sup? Yo, Eric, any rants about taxes? Are we talking about like UK taxes or the taxes on the Google Play Store? I don't really worry so much about the taxes, mainly because I have an accountant and they do that stuff for me. So they complain about it, but I'm paying them. So but I haven't really worried so much about the taxes on the Google Play Store. I have to every 3 months I have to send my financial reports onto the accountant, and they have to go through and figure out all that stuff. So, but no, I have no rants about it. I mean, I always have rants about taxes. This government, this country's going downhill with all the taxes. I don't have no rants like that. But let's see. Tom Franson, sorry I'm late. Hey, glad you can make it. Cord Funks, feeling kind of bummed out about it lately. Pretty steep in Norway. Oh, the taxes of the. Yeah, you know what? I keep my dream on my vision board. I guess I don't actually physically have a vision board, but if I did, this would be I want to live in San Diego again, right? So that's my plan in the next few years, is to go back to San Diego. I still have U.S. citizenship. I don't have British citizenship. In fact, just this week I had to go through and do all the paperwork to get my indefinite residency visa put into my new passport, my new U.S. passport, so that I can get back into the country if I need to, this country. But but I keep thinking about going back to San Diego, except every time I talk about it to people, they say, but the taxes are so high and the traffic and every time, yeah, but... So I started thinking, maybe I go someplace where it's low tax. I would love to live someplace where the cost of living is lower. Norway, jeez. Norway, Gordfunk. That's like really expensive. I worked in London for years and I went to Norway thinking, it can't be that expensive. Man, it was expensive. Let's see, Fist007. Eric, how do you handle client support when many of them need support all the time at the same time? I'm trying to get better at delegating, and this is something that I've always had trouble with, right? There are days where I feel so overwhelmed. So I'm reading the book I'm reading at the moment is 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey, which is, if you read the 1 Minute Manager books, they're pretty good. They're really short. You can like read them in like an hour and a half. Anyway, I got that this week. I've read Raving Fans, 1 Minute Manager, that kind of stuff. And it talks about the monkey. The monkey is the monkey on your back. When either a member of your team or your client or whatever, kids, they come to you and they're giving you their problems, and you say, okay, I'll look into this, and then you're taking their problem on, and that's something I'm really, really bad about. There's I'm the bottleneck in so many things in the company, and if like a client comes through with an error. To give you an example, so a client comes with an issue. They say, this thing isn't working, right? So in the past, I would go through and find out if it was working or not working. But now we're getting to the point where we got Julia's on the team, so she does testing. Rowena's on the team, she does testing. So we'll check to see whether or not they can do that. And if they can reproduce the error, then they can. If they can't, then they don't. Let me just bring up this flow chart that I did this week, talking about support. And we have documented processes, like we have a delivery document for how things go, and every so often we'll keep coming to the same problems again and again, so we'll put it into the delivery document, so really it gets off of my brain, so it's not just me who does everything. So here we go. Let me show my screen while it loads. Come on. Yeah, my computer's running really slow today. And it really, when I do screen sharing, it doesn't. Let's see. So, there's kind of a thing. So we have a role called the project coordinator. The client tells us about a new issue. I use the word issue and not bug because sometimes it's not a bug. Sometimes it's like something new. So it goes to the project coordinator. They clarify and get the steps to produce. If we can't reproduce the error, then we go back to the client and say, we need to be able to reproduce this error. You can't just say it fails sometimes. I mean, they can say it fails sometimes, and we can investigate. It kind of depends. It's like it's a judgment call there. But if we can't reproduce the issue, if we can't reproduce it, we go back to them and we get those steps. We need to get those steps to reproduce it. If we can, we have to make a determination. Is it a bug? Let me see if I can make this a bit bigger. Can you see my screen? You can't see my screen. So then we have to say, is it a bug or an enhancement? Because to the client, it's always a bug, and we have to say. We have to make the determination. Is this a bug or is it actually an enhancement? Like, this is something you never asked for before. This is the first time we've heard about it. Like, so that could be it. So if it is a bug, something that we expect to work a certain way, the client expects to work some way, then if it's still under warranty, then we'll fix it. If it's not, then it goes to the project coordinator and we'll do a quote. We'll say, okay, you're no longer under warranty, but and sometimes, to be honest with you, a lot of times we'll fix it anyway. This is Lucid Chart, by the way, and if we give them a quote, if they don't accept it, then we're done. If they do accept it, it goes to the developers. Our developers code it. The developers have to test their code. It's amazing that I have to say this because a lot of times that doesn't happen. Then we test it, and then the client tests it. If any of these fail, it goes back to the developers to do. Usually if it fails client testing, it means the requirements weren't understood. So that's kind of the thing, dealing with that. And what we're trying to do is get to a point where it's no longer like we deal with it the same thing. When we get this point here, this is where we need to make sure that it actually is a bug, that it has been through testing. We need to find out the steps to reproduce it. So if they say, okay, you go to the home screen, you click on this button and you click on this button, and we're unable to do it, then we have to find out why is it not working for you and it is working for us. Do we have a different version? Are we on a different app? Is it something related to the environment on the phone? Maybe they don't have network, maybe they don't have disk space. Is it something? So we have to figure something out there. And the nice thing is, there's been times where I've had clients come to me and say, this isn't working, and I'll say, send me a screenshot. I'll say, do you have network? Yes. Do you have disk space? Yes. So can you send me a screenshot? And then send me a screenshot of the phone, and you can look right there on the top, on the status bar, they have no internet. So it's like, dude, you have no internet. So it's that. We don't want to get developers involved until that, and it's just trying to go through that, thinking through this process, and every so often we're constantly going through and changing these kind of things. There's a little insight into the kind of stuff that I think about during the week. Bala Murali Therapy says, what is the fastest way to develop an Android app? Alternative to PhoneGap build, do dependency headache. There are lots of ways. The fastest way to develop an Android app is build something simple. Yeah, you talk about the actual build times, or it depends on how complicated the app is. Let's see. Gianluca Susanna, hey, how's it going? Says, I'm fine. I'm ready to put the TXT file for ads on my website. I'm studying Unity. Cool. Walk the talk says, Eric, what do you think about selling app templates, iOS, Android, and admin panel, all included in platform like Fiverr or ThemeForest? What's the revenue potential of it? You know what? I'm always amazed at some of the stuff on Code Canyon, how it seems to be so complete that I'm thinking they're selling it for. So it looks like somebody's put a lot of work into this template or to this code or whatever. And sometimes they haven't, but so they put a lot of work into this, and they're selling it for $20, and they've sold 4 of them. I'm thinking that can't be worth it, So it's something I haven't thought about doing, but we do use a lot of templates. I don't get them from Code Canyon. I don't purchase them, but like admin sites, we generally don't do our admin sites from scratch. We'll use some sort of template with Bootstrap and stuff. I don't think that would be a very good revenue earner, right? You're selling to so if you sell templates, you're selling to developers who could do it themselves, and you're just saving them. They're just saving a bit of time by buying your template. Cool, right? Or you could sell to an organization who needs that tool, and the value that you're giving them is going to be 100 times more than to the developer who could just do that themselves, right? So by going to a client, by going directly to a client and building an admin site and specifically for them, which does everything they need to do, the value to them is going to be a lot higher. So you're talking about selling something for hundreds or thousands rather than $10 or $20, unless you can get like a lot of purchases from it. Christopher Unugbo, hey, how's it going? Sorry if I've already said hello to you. Hey, Eric, one of my apps started making about $3 to $6 a day. Cool. What do you think the chances are of getting it to $100 per day if I get more visibility? I think it's good. Christopher, are you doing, have you localized it to different countries? I think if it's $3 to $6 a day sounds really good. Is that all through advertising? Or is it through in-app purchases? Glenn Ferris says, Eric, sorry to hear about your app removals. Great attitude with the whole situation. Thank you very much. Thanks, Glenn, for not being one of the people who says, Eric, you're taking it down. Be a man. Fight it. Suyog Beyonder says, hey, I'm developing a new jokes app for my Android Play Store. I've seen my competitors add privacy policy and terms of conditions in app. Should I include it in mine? You need to include it if you're going to be collecting anything in terms of, I think you should do a privacy policy regardless, because you need to do it if it's above a certain age, if it's below a certain age, and you don't want to make it 18 plus unless you have dirty jokes in there. If you're going to do any analytics, you have to include it. If you're going to have ads, you have to include it. So it's getting to a point where I think you pretty much have to have. You don't have to have it, but the situations where you don't need one, I think, are getting smaller and smaller. Adam S Keeper Stacy Moist says, I need help developing a great mobile app. Any help out there? Maybe a co-founder? Yeah, if anybody wants to be Adam's co-founder, let us know, or let Adam know. Yeah, I don't want to be intermediary. I will add no value to that conversation. Let's see. Sorry if I'm way behind on these questions. I'm way behind. Fiver Finger says, I'm paying developers in Upwork per milestone, 5 milestone. Each milestone release payment from escrow. How do I make sure the latest milestone I actually get my app file and prevent ransom situation? A ransom situation. The nice thing about Upwork is that you do leave a review. So if it's somebody who's an established developer, they don't want you leaving a 1-star review or you going on there and leaving a review saying you've been screwed over. If they haven't had any reviews before and they've had no previous experience, then they could just set up another account. So I think if they're established, then you have that going for you, right? And they're established, so they're probably not going to try to screw you over anyway. And that's the whole thing with escrow. It should be something where they can't hold you ransom. Let's see. Walk the talk. Give us a look and feedback and complain. Nice app though. Yes. So I'm way behind. Fist007 says your laptop needs a cleaning session. Eric, fan is almost out of computer. I know it's getting that way. I need to clean it out, either the dust and all this space and everything. Gianluca says the problem is if you distribute an app on other channels other than Google Play, like your website, Aptoid, etc., is that when the ads providers don't find the app on Google Play, they stop serving ads. That's true. You do need to. I mean, a lot of the ads on AdMob are based on other apps on Google Play. So if you do distribute it and it goes to somebody who doesn't have Google Play installed, then I don't know if that would really work in terms of the ads. So yeah, if you're using ads, and you'd have to think of a way to do it differently, or do something where you almost having your own ads, either going and finding people to advertise in your application, like as if you were running a newspaper or something, or some sort of sponsorship, which I've never done, but I've read about, like this kind of as the evolution of your application. As you get more downloads, you should go through and I was at an AdMob an AdMob function in London once years ago, where they said you start off with AdMob and just the normal ads, and then as you grow, then you could look for sponsorship, and then you were able to make a better deal with somebody. If you could go to them and say, we have 10,000 new users a day, right, and they're specifically interested in what you would have to offer, then you probably could get a better rate from them directly than you could through AdMob being an intermediary where they take their cut. But that's something you could think about doing too. Wi-Fi blocker. What do you make of the Google Play Pass for $5 a month? Good consumer example, bad for developer. Good consumer, maybe bad for developer. I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked into it too much. I assumed it'd be like YouTube Premium or YouTube Red, where I still get some revenue from YouTube Red if somebody watches a video, even though they don't see the ad, because I get something from that. But I assume that would kind of be the case. If they're coming into your application, then I would hope that you would get some sort of cut from that. Pratik Singh, hey, hello, sir. Hey, how's it going? You don't have to call me sir. It's kind of weird when I started working with people in the Philippines, when they would call me sir all the time, or even in India. Where for a while I felt like I kept telling them to stop, and then I realized it was I kind of gave up on that, because especially if I'm older than them, it's they prefer to call me sir, and in the end I just sort of thought, but I felt condescending to have people call you sir, right? This is why I can never be an officer in the military. I think to be an NCO. King Low, don't give up, Eric. Sending best wishes. Thank you very much, King Low. I appreciate it. Just don't do it, Eric. Says Fist007. My MVP says, hey, Eric, did you get an email from Google about the new App-ads.txt? Yeah, I did. I got that one. I think we all did. And the first thing I thought was, what do I need to do with this? You know what would have been nice if they told you what you needed to do with it. It was so confusing. So I did find another YouTube video where somebody went through the process, and I think it's just a case of putting it on your web domain, if you have a web domain, or Heroku, like we mentioned before. Yeah. So actually, the Heroku thing, because it's a different domain, it's not necessarily your domain name. Would that still work? Prikshit Singh says, "Sir, I'm trying to learn Python. What is your suggestion for me? I'm new to coding. I don't know any Python. I've never learned Python, but I think for me, I'm better at learning things when I can find a practical example for it. So, like when I was learning Node.js, it wasn't so much the like I didn't just learn Node.js and learn every facet of it. I was like, what can I do with this? And then writing tools that would do stuff like go through my entire file structure and look for something through a recursive function or something like that. So you just gotta get the thing and have something where you can actually be doing something for you. So like, let's say you wrote a Python function, for example, let's say you wrote a Python function that would every day at 2 a.m. you send a tweet or something like that. That would be kind of cool, right? Like you just have like reads from a spreadsheet where you have a bunch of quotes and then you tweet something, just something to, because I think that kind of stuff is cool. But it all depends on what interests you, just so you keep going, so you don't lose the focus. I think one of the things about Hello World on any computer programming that I really don't. Oh, we've been live for an hour, so we're gonna. I did tell my son I wasn't gonna be on too late tonight, so because I have to take him to a shop before it closes. So yeah, I think the thing about Hello World as an example, which is what we always see, is that it's so boring. Hello World is such a boring thing to do, especially the way that the author, or whatever book you're reading, they say, "Congratulations, you just created your first app." It's like, oh, shut up, right? We have to do something like at least a button I could click or something. Let's see. My VIP says, what about this new ad mob enforcement? Is that App-ads.txt? Is that what we're talking about? Or just the ad mob? Rashida Qasim says, ad mob requests are coming. Okay, so we're still talking about that. Ad mob requests are coming, and there are not any error code in console, but ads are not working for my users. Are you getting the impression? So you should have. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. If it's showing impressions. If it's not showing impressions, then it'll be the fill rate. So if you're not getting the fill rate, then to take a look at it. Go into the ad mob reporting and group it by the country and see if it's working better for one country than another. Because you just have to isolate where the problem is. Maybe there's no ads in that location. Matthew Creek says, got a mobile app developer job interview today. Any advice? Yeah, wear a tie. Relax, Matthew. Just go in there. You're there to help them. You're not, don't let them rattle you. You're in there. You're there to help them out, right? It's just every time I've gone in with the attitude like where I need this job, I've done terribly. But if I go in like, okay, let's, I'll see if I can help them. They see if they can help me. I would go in there with the mentality that they need to impress you as much as you need to impress them, right? You are the right fit. You're the person they're looking for, right? If they ask any questions about why you're looking, what kind of things you want, where you see yourself in 5 years, all those kind of stuff, don't worry about that. Just be yourself. Be confident. The more confident you are, the better you're gonna do. The problem is that interviews don't lend themselves to being confident typically. Let's see. But yeah, good luck, Matthew. Let us know next week how it goes. Julio Cruz says, "Hi, Eric. What do you think about Fiverr websites or similar that offer apps developed for low prices?" They kind of, I think about them the same way that I think about buying a template. Like, you're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to do anything unique if you purchase code from somebody else, right? However, there's still this huge dichotomy. So let's say you get something completely custom and you spend $5,000 for it, or $10,000, but otherwise you could buy code for like $20. I mean, that's a huge discrepancy. So if you're a developer and you buy code that gets you, even 30% of the way into it, or 50 or whatever, and you know enough to go and customize it, that sounds like it might be a good deal. But always look at the licenses for those. So sometimes they'll be like, you can use this on only one project or whatever. So make sure you look at that. And there have been times where I've had clients come to me and they want something custom, and I'm giving them like a really high quote. And in the end, I kind of just say, or you could look at Chupa Mobile, and because this is kind of a common thing, this kind of app. You look at Chupa Mobile, you might be able to find a template that does 80% of what you want, and then you can get a developer on Upwork to do that last little bit. Hopefully that's the ideal, and you're talking about spending hundreds rather than thousands, or even hundreds rather than thousands. So, and when we think about it, I mean, I've always been really well paid as a developer, mainly because you can go into a situation and look at the vagueness of it. Like, you're building something out of nothing, you're doing all that stuff, but at its core level, you have a bunch of common blocks that you're always using. You're always establishing a database connection, you're rendering a form, you're submitting the form, etc., etc., etc. It's all the stuff in between that you do, and all that stuff has been done again and again and again. But you are the person who has to bring all those pieces together and make sure they work in a totally new and different way, hopefully. Gianluca says, at least AdMob, Facebook, Apple Deal stopped serving ads if they didn't find the app on Google Play. Oh, see, I didn't even know that. Because I've always had them on Google Play. But when my... Oh, hey, Google, stop. Sorry, speaker. Let's see, Pragmatic Dev Solutions LLC says, how often do you learn new technologies? For example, new framework, AI, and etc. Not as often as I should. I spend more time working with clients at the moment. Whereas when I was contracting, I was always on the latest thing. What was I? This week I was... Okay, this week, it's kind of... It's not really a new technology, but last weekend, in my depression from having my apps removed, did I say ass? I actually sat down and I learned JWT web tokens, right? Because I thought, I want to do my own admin site. I have developers doing an admin site, and we have an API which we're using token-based security, and I was like, I want to learn how to do that myself. So I sat down, I did my MySQL database. The API using token-based security, where I would use whatever the encryption is. So I encrypt the hash, store it in the data, all that kind of stuff, because I don't usually do that kind of stuff, and I was just kind of learning that. But it's not really a new language, because it was still JavaScript, it was still Node.js, it was still that, but it was like learning a new facet of that. And things just change, things just change so quickly, you don't know what new is out there. And also it's kind of like, I was a bit upset about my app being removed. I've got developers working on something which I think they should have been a bit faster on, so I wanted to see if I could just like not tell them and just like outpace them. So I worked for 4 hours on Saturday, about 3 hours on Sunday, and I thought, okay, Monday I'm going to work all day on this thing, and I haven't done anything this week. But it's learning that stuff. Even just starting a project and tinkering with it, you learn so much from that. There's so much I've learned just tinkering with code that that's helped on other parts of projects. Let's see. Shubhan Singh says, why there's many game names like Helix Jump, not searchy words, getting millions of downloads? I don't know. I don't know why there's so many apps that are named very similarly, but I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of things want to capitalize on other things. Hey, like my ear agent, right? Ear agent was out there, it was Ear Spy, and then you see all these other apps called Ear Spy, and I thought, well, maybe that's too common, but when I changed it to ear agent, I thought that's totally new. And then you see all these ear agent apps out there. In fact, just because I'm all mad and everything, let's see if we can find any ear agent apps out there that have not been suspended. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at them. Look at them all smug still on the Play Store. Oh, don't do this to yourself, Eric. Don't do this to yourself. Let her go. It's just not that into you. Google Play is not into you. But look at that. Oh, my God. That one looks... Ear agent live. Oh, God. All right. Well, they're still out there. I'm going to see if I get mine put back, and I'm going to sink all of them. I'm going to bury them. Fist007 says, clients rather speak to developer directly than talk to a salesman, as all they need is a developer. Yeah, it's true. I find that they do. But you have to be I've been with developers, where we've been in a client meeting and the developer got really technical. Like, it was almost like they were speaking different languages, where the client was like, they didn't want to say, they didn't understand what they're saying, but they were kind of like looking to me to translate as if it needed translating. But I remember being in a meeting with a developer who was talking about why the value of one variable in the code was not changing, and it should. And I thought, this is way too low level. I mean, this is way too low level for this client to understand, right? What we should be saying is technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties, right? There's certain levels that you could tell a client. You could either say, I'm sorry, we're having technical difficulties, so we'll get this done, or we're having some server problems. Depending on how technically advanced they are, you could be more detailed. Like you could say, we're having we need to add some indexes to the database to speed things up. You could say that, or if they know what a database is, for example. So there's always judging that when you go through. But yeah, I think for me, I always hate getting contacted by a development company and then talking to somebody who's not a developer, not the owner of the company, but a business development professional. I don't want to talk to a business development manager, right? That just means, I guess I'm bitter. I'm bitter. Let's see. Seog Beyonder says, you should make a video on app development lifecycle. Yeah, but probably, yeah, that would be kind of cool. I mean, it's because we think about that a lot. Like, we're trying to make sure that everything goes through the stages that it should, make sure our clients understand what the life cycle is. We make mistakes, like we all do. Every so often we try to be clever by getting things done quicker than they should, and sometimes we'll deviate from our processes and then get burned by it later. Let's see, Dervesh, thanks for sharing finding client strategies. Yeah, there's so many ways to do it. Let's see, Rodrigo says, yes, I was talking about App-ads.txt. I still don't know which domain they want me to use. If it is something domain associated with AdMob and the reverse domain thing. Yeah, I assume it meant like you actually go through and enter that. Let's see. That I saw somebody do, like I said, I saw somebody do it. I think it's just a case. Sorry, I'm gonna see if I can get up here on my screen if you see me looking off as that. So, Fist007 says, have you ever built an app that does something with Salesforce or Sage or SAP? I've done. It wasn't a mobile app, but I've done some Apex work and stuff that actually communicate. No, yeah, I did one where it was like it wasn't a mobile app, but it was a server component written in ASP.NET, ASP.NET, but not web forms. It was communicating. Actually, it was SharePoint, but it was using a component that was communicating with Salesforce to retrieve data in JSON format. So I had to write the Apex function that would communicate with Salesforce, and I don't remember how I made it, how I authenticated it. I can't remember how I authenticated it, but it did retrieve the data and basically return it as JSON. And I used jQuery to render it it was actually in a Bing map, but this is a while ago. But I haven't done it in an actual Salesforce thing. But like if you look at, in a mobile application, but there are Ionic templates out there for integrating with Salesforce. I mean, Salesforce has a pretty good API, especially if you can do the Apex stuff and write the server code too. Let's see, apps, all apps. Do all apps. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here real quick, and I don't think there's anything. Ugh. So actually, I'm going to share my screen. I don't think there's anything here I'm not allowed to show. But like if you go to AdMob and you go to apps and then you go to all apps, so you go to apps, all apps, and you go to App-ads.txt, they'll give you the domain that they're expecting. So you know App-ads.txt found. So they're actually giving you something there. If you don't have it, I don't know where that's coming from. This is why I'm showing you, because I don't know like where that. I don't know where that's coming from. However, it seems like if I just go through and put that in, I thought I had to enter that in, but yeah, it seems like I just have to. And if you go how to set up App-ads.txt, it will tell you, basically take this copy it into a text document, call it App-ads.txt, put it on the root domain of your website, bam, done. Right? I could have done it right now. I could have done it right now live and just make you guys wait for me while I fumble around with FTP. But I wouldn't do that. But that should be as simple as it is, my understanding. If I'm wrong, let me know. Well, if I'm wrong, we'll figure it out. We got like a week. We got like weeks to do it. Let's see. American Aircool says, do you recommend learning Huawei Harmony OS? I don't know enough about it, right? If it's a new operating system, I can remember getting a book on Tizen, Tizen, which was something that I think Samsung was doing, which is like I think it was a JavaScript-based operating system for mobile phones. Nobody ever used it, right? I'm thinking Huawei Harmony OS, if it were me, I would wait, right? I mean, they got to bypass Android. If they have to bypass Android and iOS and Windows Phone, right? It's you could be an early adopter, or you could be just, I would wait personally. In fact, I will wait. Like if I find out tomorrow that everybody's flocking to Harmony OS, or there's like all the Harmony OS is on more mobile handsets than Android is, then yeah, I'll flock over to it. But at the moment, I don't think it's worth doing. Let's see. The developer website you specify there. Okay, so Lim Hoi Kut. Otaku Ket doesn't mean anything. I'm just combining the word otaku and market. Oh, cool. Mark Nguyen says, about your agent, shouldn't your competitors' similar apps be suspended also? Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Sorry. Yes, I believe they should. I kind of feel like I'm trying to get mine. If I get mine reinstated, then But yeah, they should have been suspended to begin with, because mine was first. Let's see. Lim Koi, thanks for reviewing my app. No problem. Liam says, I wanted to ask you, have you had any experience with AdMob or any other ad network and user-generated content? No, I'm not. No, I haven't. You mean like? I'm not sure what that means. So like, the nice thing about native ads, you can put it in a list. So if you have like a list view, you could put a native ad in there and have it actually be in there with user-generated content, but I'm not sure. I guess I haven't. The answer is no, but I haven't. But I'm not quite sure what you mean. I was planning on using Facebook ads, as I expect my users to be mostly Western, but they don't allow ads on user-generated content without written permission. Okay. But if you did like a boosted post, that's an ad, right? You're generated based on you. Let's see. Apple or Android apps, choose one. I'm an iPhone user out of necessity, because we have clients with iPhones. Well, I mean, we have Android. On my desk, I have both the Android and iPhone. I've got the MacBook. I've got the iPad. My next phone is going to be a Pixel, and I'm just trying to decide, when I want to get that Pixel. So my next day-to-day phone is going to be an Android. I like Android better personally, but iPhone's it's a good phone. It's good hardware-wise. It's good. In fact, the operating system's good, but my preference is Android, and I haven't used Android mainly because I like Google Play Music. I use Gmail. It integrates better. I don't like Siri. I've got the Google Home speaker here. I've got the the Amazon speaker here, and it's like Siri's like a third thing I don't need, and it doesn't. It's just my personal preference. But everybody thinks differently. My VIP says, "Hey Eric, will you resubmit the Ear Agent app? I think it's a problem with just naming the app and the package name, so it's not for spying or similar." Yeah, I know. I don't want to change the package name. That's just it, because I could resubmit it now. Like I could do it like immediately after this call or after this live stream. But then we're talking about I have to get all the backlinks, the reviews, everything. I'll be starting from scratch, and if I can get it, keep the package name, keep the URL, just have them do it, and I'll change everything about it. Then at least I will still have those backlinks. I'll still have all that juice behind it, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. But that's my thing. Rather than resubmit it under another name, and kind of what I don't want to resubmit it under another name and then have them suspend that for some reason, and then I have 3 suspensions and get my. So that's the reason why I haven't just done that. And I have another one, Ear Assist, which I removed because of repetitive content. And I think about just it's in an unpublished state. I think it's about just putting it back in a published state, but I haven't done that yet either. I'm waiting to see if I can do this. Of course, now, actually, I still need to deal with the whole 32-bit, 64-bit thing. Liam says, has anyone here got ads in an app with user-generated content? Yeah. What? Most apps have, a lot of apps have user-generated content. I don't understand that. Mega Man 2016 says, I've just added App-ads.txt now. I still don't know how it works, but I'll research it too. Yeah, hopefully if you do it, that whole status detail where it says no App-ads.txt, not found, no file found, hopefully like in a few hours you can check back and that'll be gone, and then you'll be fine. In fact, everybody should do it right now. Everybody, I'll wait for you guys to do it. Upload that file to your website. Emerkin Urkel says, I want to make the top 1,000 keywords in English for Learner. Would you suggest I do it? You want to make the top 1,000 keywords? You mean talking about for a language learning app, or you want to be ranked for the top 1,000 keywords for English? Not quite sure I understand that one. Prikshit Singh says, hey, I'm trying to learn Python. I'm new to coding. Martian Developer says, I can't increase my Google Play downloads. Any suggestions? Let's have a look at your app. Let us know your app name. We'll have a look. Although I do need to start going here soon because it's been an hour and 24 minutes, and I promised to keep it short today. Rohan K says, my team is traveling to Cupertino to help film the Apple event. If you watch, my team is behind most of the camera. Really? That's awesome. Can you wave? Can you say, hey guys, does it go over Friday? If it goes on a Friday live stream, say hello to all of us, Rohan. Let's see. The Ula says, were you ever hired as a software engineer at a company? If so, what was it like? I have been. Yeah, I've had lots of jobs as software engineers. As software engineer. So it's different. It's a lot more laid back. Well, actually, it depends. If you have a deadline coming up and you're like, it's not just your deadline. You got like some middle manager who's breathing out. You got like a senior manager who tells a middle manager some offhand thing. The middle manager decides it's gospel, and he's breathing down your neck. You're telling him it's not technically possible. He's saying, I'm not going to go back and tell the senior because I've already told him I'm going to do that. You got all those politics things in there. That kind of stuff happens. That could be stressful. And then if something goes wrong, they need a scapegoat and they blame you. And but then there's other times where like if something goes wrong, it's like, not my fault. You guys chose the wrong technology, or you chose the wrong whatever. Whereas you're doing everything on your own, everything is your fault, everything is your responsibility, but at least you don't get the blame for everything. Well, you're the only person to blame. Yami SC says, has anyone booked one-to-one time with you yet? If so, what kind of questions do you address during these sessions? Thanks, Eric. Yeah, they have. We've had a few, we had quite a few consultations one-to-one time, and it's whatever they want to talk about. Like Usually I'll try to record it on Zoom unless we do something else like we did with Google Hangouts recently, and it really is just having a conversation where we talk about either an app idea or if they're having trouble with the apps, anything I could help with. But it's kind of like, it's a lot like the live stream. It's just, if you have a question and and you don't mind it being public, then we'll do it on the live stream. Do it for free. But if you do want something where you want to take more time, look at it, you want my opinion, my expertise, whatever, then we'll have those one-on-one times. So it's usually stuff like, what do you think of this app idea? How would monetization with this work? And we'll come up with some ideas of how we can monetize something, or I'll give my opinion on how an app would be better marketed if we change the name or something. So it's really just a case of like going in and just having a chat as what can we do with this application and that. So we try to send an email through first to say, because it's limited time, so we try to say, is there anything you want me to read beforehand? Do that. Like there's been one where we've done, we actually did a database diagram on the call, or did like some flow charts of how things should work, or do some wireframes, just really quick, launch up Balsamic, do some wireframes of how something could work, and walk through the steps. So Steve Mamo says, hello, technical question. If you want to update GeoFire in the background, should I do it on stop? When the app is open, it updates, but when it's on stop, it won't update regularly. 15 to 20 minutes. GeoFire. What is GeoFire? It sounds. Hang on. I don't even. Okay, so Steve, this is one of those things. Am I showing my ignorance? Like, dude, everybody knows what GeoFire is. Dude, Eric, what kind of idiot are you that you don't know what GeoFire is? I'm just gonna. Is that geofencing? So I'm just gonna do GeoFire, fire door hold. No, that's obviously not that. GeoFire for Java, real-time location. So yeah, I've never done anything with ring fencing or real-time location libraries. Although I've had several clients ask about it, but that's something. Hopefully somebody else knows it. Userring.com. Hello, how are you today? I'm very good. Userring.com. How are you? Do you know anything about ring fencing? Is that what Userring is all about? Because Steve Mamo could use some help. Let's see. Harish Devanyagam. Sorry with you guys' names. I really try. It's kind of sad how hard I try to read it. So just know I'm really trying. Stripe is the best payment gateway solution. Cool. More info. I'm updating GPS on Firebase using GeoFire. See, my whole thing was with using real-time updates, because I get clients say this all the time. Like, is there any way we could track our employees' movements throughout the day? And my whole thing is battery life. Like, I know that it must be possible, but I've never, like, in my mind, I'm thinking I need to have a background process running, which is on a periodic basis updating a central server. And there may be other things out there that do it. And also making sure that works on both Android and iPhone if we do a cross-platform framework. And there must be things out there that do it, but I don't know what they are. So maybe I should have a look at this GeoFire thing. Rohan says, I have one office in San Diego. Oh, you know what? All right, Rohan, next, drop me an email. Next time I go to San Diego, stop by your office. Do you have a slide in the office? Yeah, I want an office. So when I start to really, see, this is, like, I can't even get my, so when I start like to daydream, like when Overpass becomes this multinational thing, I think, I want an office in San Diego with a slide in it and a ball pit. I want like all that stuff that you look at it and you go, I want that stuff. But that's really cool. Jay Matthew, come back to Missouri. So yeah, I went to school in Warrensburg, Missouri. So I just got a text from my son saying, don't mean to interrupt, but it's getting late. So I lived in Warrensburg, Missouri. I went to school at Central Missouri State, and I will drive through Missouri. I wouldn't mind going back to Missouri, but it must be cheap. Like getting an office in San Diego versus getting an office in like Missouri, like Independence or something, must be a lot cheaper. Although I would want to go to Independence. I lived out in the middle of nowhere. And it's like an hour to drive anywhere decent. I mean, yeah, but a lot of people like that. But I just want to live I want to live someplace where you're close to everything. My standard living is I want a Pizza Hut within 10-mile radius. That's it. That's success to me. Some people it's mansions, whatever. I just want a Pizza Hut like within a reasonable distance. Actually, no, I want In-N-Out Burger. That's what I really want. Let's see. Sorry. Where did I go? Add a major. Oh God! Wow, I'm way behind on this. Sorry if I haven't answered all you guys' questions yet. Cord Funk says, okay. Redline says warranty. Wow. Yeah, you should have some sort of like if you do a client project, you should have some sort of extended warranty or support contract in place. What you don't want to do is end up in a situation where you're supporting the application forever. Just because, you should. You're not screwing over the client, but they have to understand that if a new version of iOS comes out and the app stops working, you can't support it for the rest of your life. You can't be like 10 years from now, you get a call saying, hey, that app you did for us 10 years ago? Not working, right? So you have to have some sort of period where and really, I've had clients come to me where we release their app 2 years earlier. There's no warranty in place, but it's not working. But I'll just fix it anyway because you want them to be happy, but you also want it to be like an official thing. So yeah, red lines. I know it's a warranty. Cord Funk says, yo Eric, do you have time limit for projects? For example, we never spend more than 3 weeks on a project. God, I wish. I don't. I probably should have one. C89HD says, hi Eric, I'm late. That's okay. I'm surprised we're still going. We got a tidy thing. So actually, let me go down. After D-App says hi, that's going to be our last question because I have to get going. Let's see. J. Matthew says, do you like taking on projects? Do you like taking on projects that is already written halfway? No, I don't. Or do you prefer starting from scratch? I made the mistake this week of taking on an already written project. Yeah, so you got brownfield and greenfield, which is, I don't know who uses those terms, but so yeah, somebody comes to us and say, hey, our previous developers really screwed us over, or they did a really terrible job. Can you take it over? They were like, you might get a client that says, our previous developers were just the worst. They were incompetent. They did such a bad job, but not you, Eric. You're going to be great, right? And it's flattering because you think, yeah, I bet they were terrible. I think, but then you have to think, you have to think maybe the problem wasn't the other developers. Maybe it was the client themselves. Maybe they had unreasonable expectations. Although that's not necessarily the case, because you can still help them. But it's much more difficult going into somebody else's code and figure out how it works. And why did they do that? And why does this function even exist? Is it even ever called? And you end up not even removing anything, so you have all this dead code in there because you're too afraid to move it just in case, depending on how much time you put into it. And you have to actually get to the point where you mentally take ownership of the code, where you're like, okay, this is mine now. All warts and all, I'm going to go through and fix this. And that could be a lot more difficult. Whereas you do it from scratch, you have a lot more control over it, and the learning curve is smaller. Let's see. The Pirate Programmer says, hello, Eric. I feel my app Abiso has currently reached its peak ranking because I have updated the app, changed the description, screenshots, and title as well. But now I'm ranking between the top 15 and 30. And that's cool, Pirate Programmer. But, you should be able to do better. Because when we looked at it last week, you need the traffic through. So you have to think about, you could be ranking really well for keywords that nobody's searching on. So you might need to change those a little bit more. Steve Mammo says, I'm almost done with my app and now I need to work on the legal stuff, but there are no YouTube videos that cover important things that need to be included, like the policy video idea. I think the reason why there's not a lot of legal things is because nobody wants to be sued. because I started thinking about that with the GDPR stuff. I was going to do I want to do one on GDPR. I want to do one on how to get copyright. I want to do one on this, and just so I learned about it and do it. And then I thought, actually, no, I don't want to put myself out there where somebody sues me because I give them wrong legal advice. But yeah, there's the free privacy policy generator software out there somewhere. Pirate Programmer says, and that's been going on for almost 2 weeks now. What should I do to rank better? Yeah, I'd say Pirate Programmer, try some other keywords too. Just because it's not the ranking and the keywords that's important. It's the traffic, getting people into it and finding it. And look at that user acquisition report. So Adam Major says, have you noticed a larger number of downloads after August 1st? Me? No. I wonder if it's related to the change in Google's algorithm for ratings apps. I have not. Well, actually, I haven't noticed. I'll have to look at one of the top ones that are not your agent and have a look. Let's see. Christopher Anugbo says, right now my app is making money through in-app purchases and I haven't localized it yet. Try localizing it. Yeah, because that will introduce it to more people, get more people in. You've proven that it can make money. You just need to get more people through to it. Sir, yes, sir. How far behind am I in this? Matthew Kriege says, my internet quit for a bit. Okay. Jesse says, how's your Flutter going? I've been doing, I have this Fireship.io course that I bought that I'm going through, and but again, I keep getting distracted on the other client projects. It seems like, Jesse, it feels like I just have no hours. It seems like I just can't believe how quickly the time goes. I can't believe it's Friday already. Pragmatic Dev Solutions says, what's your app revenue in iOS? It's low. It's because I lump AdMob together. So let's go back to the daily revenue report here, so I can show you this. Wait for this load up again. So let's see. Anuruddha, sorry. So it's here. You can see my iTunes is really low, but I've only got like a few apps on there. So this is last month. 536, whatever. If we go to the in terms of AdMob, it's actually most of this 279048 is coming from the from iOS. So yeah. So I can't show you the exact split, but most of it's coming from iOS. Aniruddha Gayaki says, I have a doubt. What is better a job in big companies, competitive coding or building projects? I don't know, because I don't know what competitive coding is. I've never done competitive coding. So I think the fact that you can, finish a project is very important to an employer. Let's see. Got mail from Google about App-ads.txt. I don't even have a website. Yeah, take a look. It may say something in your AdMob when we talked about go into AdMob and go into the all apps and then go to the App-ads.txt and see if there's anything there that you have to do. Anuruddha says, yes, how to do it. So we talked about that a bit earlier. So, and there's other videos out there that do it, although we should probably do one. Let's see. Blessing. Hey, how's it going, Blessing? David Kitto says, hey, Eric, quick question about Apple requirements for approving an app. How do you prove to them that you will provide support to users? Is a dedicated app website required for every app? No, it's not. I mean, they ask for a support URL, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a dedicated website. So when we do stuff for clients, we'll just do like their normal website. So I think it's just something to show some sort of contact information so they can get in touch with them. Abdisamed El Hamdani says, hey Eric, how are you doing? I'm doing okay, thank you. I just got the opportunity to work in a React Native project. Any advices on how I can manage my time so I can deliver as soon as I can? I think really the hardest bit for me personally, just when I have a coding job, is just finding the time to sit down and do it. And just starting. right? Once you start, you get the flow, and it almost becomes fun. Like anybody tries to pull you away from that flow, it's annoying to you. But it's just getting that bit to start, and you have to make sure you have some place where you're not going to get interrupted all the time, because it's just those constant interruptions are just impossible to do, and you just get into that flow state. Rohit Goswami says, "Hey Eric, what do you think is the best strategy to do in ASO? Also, what's the best practice for getting traction in the Chinese market and other Asian countries? Thanks." Well, definitely for the Chinese market, I think you should translate it into Chinese, but then also making sure you get into, I guess a Huawei store would be good. Samsung store was always good in China for me. And then you got all the Chinese markets. And it's been a few years since I put them to that, so it's been a few years since I put anything into the Chinese market. Yeah, I think best strategy to do with ASO, again, we talk about this all the time, is keyword research. Do some keyword research. Although there's only so far you could go with that. I got a comment the other day. I nearly did a video about it, but I didn't want to call him out. But he says it was the one about I did like back in 2015 about increasing your downloads on Google Play, where I talked a lot about keywords, and they said this is BS. I have my keyword in there 40 times in my description, and I'm not even ranking for it. And I thought, that's complete misunderstanding of how it works. It's not like the more you have it, the more you do, because otherwise we just all fill our descriptions with the keywords and we would outrank the top things. So we have all the other stuff too, like the reviews and the backlinks and the social proof and everything like that. So it takes a while to get that up and going. Pixel 2, Unagi Smith says Pixel 2 is cheap now. Well, yeah. Liam says you should set up a Overpass Slack or Discord. We have a Facebook group, and even then I have trouble keeping up with that. Pratik says hi. Hey, how's it going? D-Apps, hey, how's it going? I am late. Was at the gym. Good for you, D-Apps. So that's I think. Okay, so D-Apps says, do you know any ad blocker called Adaway? That's very bad for devs who earn money from ads. So does Adaway? Thing about ad blockers on mobile, is it on browser only, or is it any ads? Because I don't see how an ad blocker could restrict traffic to your application if it's sandboxed, unless they have access to all network traffic coming to and from your phone. And they, so I don't know too much about that. So after Christian's here, so after his, we're not answering any more questions. Gotta get going. Altamush says, hello Eric, what was the average CPI you got when you ran paid app installs? So it was about, it would between 60p and £2.30. It really depends on the day. So and my app cost was $4.99. So as long as it kept below that, I was okay. So my whole thing was, as long as I keep my cost per install below $4.99, well, before, let's say like below £3, then I'd be fine. So it did fluctuate a lot. Some days it was a lot better. Biswajit, thanks Eric, thanks Christian. I'm new here. Christian, thanks very much for showing up. I'm sorry, we're just finishing. D-App says it's blocked connection from ads, but the phone needs to be rooted. Oh, okay, so that's the ad blocker. Oh, well, the phone needs to be rooted. I'm not worried about people with the rooted phones. I mean, how many of them are there? If somebody's going to the Google Play Store, and making purchases, they don't know how to root their phones, do they? That's just my opinion. Anyway, thank you everybody for showing up to the live stream. Apologize. So Julia, who's listening in, sorry for going so long, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week ahead. I'm going to keep appealing this application. Well, I'm going to appeal it one more time, but I think I'm going to do like you guys suggested. I'm going to find the local representative and see if I could get some help that way, and I'm going to try to get that on. I'm not laying down. Quit calling me a wimp, whoever keeps doing that in the comments. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I'll do the daily video tomorrow, which I haven't filmed yet. Maybe I might not get the daily video done tomorrow, but I'm going to try. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week. And I'll talk to you guys again next week. Bye.